to my weekly live stream number 23. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'll start off with a song called Half the People.
Well, half the people are looking to rumble, and the other half spoiling for a fight. The logic that they're using is all jumbled, but who needs facts when you know you're right? Well, half the people nowadays are bonkers, and the other half have all gone insane. Everybody everywhere looks angry, and they need to blame somebody for their pain. Now half the news you get today is phony, and the other half you get today is fake. But what's real is the independent journalist who gets tortured but refuses to break. Half the people have lost their marbles, and the other half have all lost their minds. On top of that, we've become so heartless. Underneath it all, we must have lost our spines. Half the people are just plain cuckoo, and the other half are just plain Looney Tunes. Bite your tongue, you can't talk sense to any of them. They hate you when you burst their balloons. Now half the people have gone crazy, and the other half have all gone mad. Well, I could make a fortune selling bridges if I hadn't sold the last one that I had. Well, half the people have no idea, and the other half, they haven't got a clue. They'll believe anything anyone will tell them, unless it can be proven to be true. Half people are just plain cuckoo, and the other half are just plain Looney Tunes. Bite your tongue, you can't talk sense to any of them. They hate you when you burst their balloons. Now half people are talking rubbish, and the other half are all just talking crap. You've got to be careful and remind yourself not to take the bait or step into the trap. 'Cause half the people nowadays are bonkers, and the other half have all gone insane. Everybody everywhere looks angry, and they need to blame somebody for their pain. Half the people are just plain cuckoo, and the other half are just plain Looney Tunes. Bite your tongue, you can't talk sense to any of them. They hate you when you burst their balloons. Oh yeah, they hate you when you burst their balloons.
It's time for a baseball song. And Bob, if you're listening today, Chicago Bob, this is for you. And any Cubs fan that might be listening today, I had originally written a song called The Curse of the Billy Goat. And when the Cubs won the World Series a few years ago, that song became obsolete, but I have written this one to replace it.
was the 13th of never. It had been a very long wait for another week with 2 Wednesdays. Hadn't happened since 1908. Red snowflakes were falling. There was a very blue moon. And all the folks in Chicago were singing a Steve Goodman tune. Cats were chasing dogs that day. Water ran uphill. Flocks of pigs were flying, and the champagne had been chilled. It was a short-sleeved night in November. The wind didn't even blow. And from hell they were reporting more than 7 feet of snow. They finally had a parade. Leading there was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. Well, no one alive can remember the last time Easter fell in May, or another evening in the autumn, celebrating Christmas Day. But the fish had climbed the poplar, and the cows were coming home. The sun rose in the west, the day the curse was overthrown. Now some said that they were ready. They had hung on just for this. They had crossed off all the other things above it on the list. And the ghosts no longer haunted, now that they could finally rest. And old men and their fathers wept. Love was unrepressed. They finally had a parade. Leading there was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. Well, now anything's liable to happen, so keep your eyes on the dominoes and expect the unexpected, and always wear clean underclothes. 'Cause it was in the month of Sundays, second Wednesday of the week. There was hugging in the tavern, lots of kissing on the cheek. They finally had a parade. Leading there was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. Yeah, they finally had their parade. Leading there was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse.
So, you have never heard me sing this song, except maybe when I first released it on a CD called Last of the Old Time. But it's a song my dad has been trying to get me to play for a long time, so Dad, this is for you.
I was a restless kid. I was a restless kid. I probably shouldn't mention some of the things I did. I was a restless kid. On a slingshot, I was good. On a slingshot, I was good. There were some people back in the neighborhood who did not think I was so good. was not nice to my sister. No, I was not nice to my sister. Of all the people I've ever done wrong, I can't forget to list her. I was not nice to my sister. I had a BB gun. I had a BB gun. I shot a friend of mine in the leg, and from her brother I still run. I had a BB gun. I was no teacher's pet. No, I was no teacher's pet. Substitutes especially, some of them might not have forgiven me yet. Well, I was no teacher's pet, but I knew how to destroy. Yeah, I knew how to destroy. I invented some new ways. After all, I was a boy, and I knew how to destroy. And I can still taste the soap. I can still taste the soap. Irish Spring especially, and the kind that came on a rope. I can still taste the soap. I was a restless kid. I was a restless kid. I'll probably never come clean about some of the things I did. I was a restless kid. I was a restless kid.
And it's all true. Every last word. So, since there's no ticket price ever to watch any of my live streams, I'm relying on your tips, your donations, and if you're interested in tipping, if you find value in what I'm doing, the URLs, the links for the 3 various ways that you can tip me are all in the beginning of the comments, both on Facebook and YouTube, also in the chat window on YouTube, and the options are through Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. There's also information there in the comments about how to pick up recordings. If you're interested in digital downloads, you can do that through bandcamp.com at whatever price you want to pay. And if you're interested in CDs, you can pick them up through my website, chuckbrodsky.com. And also, if you're interested in becoming a patron, and I'll talk more about that later. But I'm grateful for any of your tips, and I hope that you will consider tipping today. This is my sole means of making a living these days until the COVID crisis passes and I can get back out on the road. Here's a song you've never heard me play.
You can call it chicken, but what do I know? Who's to say that it isn't so? Over on Madison Avenue, they call it chicken, so it must be true. They call it chicken, it grows in a dish. Tweak it a little, you can call it fish. Try telling that to the man on the street. How all they're growing are the bits of meat. They call it chicken, but it's not a bird. Tastes just like chicken, that's but I can't confirm and I can't deny. Chicken, give it a try. They call it chicken, but it doesn't cluck. It's got no feathers that you need to pluck. It's got no neck and it's got no wings. No beak, no bones, none of those things. From chicken eggs it doesn't hatch. It doesn't peck, it doesn't scratch. Doesn't require a chicken coop or someone to clean up the chicken poop. They call it chicken, but it's not a bird. Tastes just like chicken, that's what I heard. You can make it look like a breast or a thigh, but I'll be too chicken to give it a try. Might be. One day maybe it'll grow on the tree. They'll have to hire a chicken picking crew till they figure out how to replace them too. You call it chicken, but the foxes hate it. The roosters are just real frustrated. You can call it chicken, the law's with you, but it doesn't have sex like chickens do. They call it chicken, but it's not a bird. Tastes just like chicken, that's what I heard. It's as American as apple pie, but I'll be too chicken to give it a try. Tasty. So, let's move from chicken picking to apple picking. I spent a lot of time in my younger days as a fruit picker, both in Israel on a kibbutz a few different times, picking citrus, all sorts of citrus. More varieties of citrus than you ever knew existed. And I also picked in Washington State, apples and pears. And in Washington, everybody I was picking with was an illegal from Mexico. I was the only one that wasn't. And they all had to worry about the immigration police coming around making spot checks. The immigration police in Spanish is called Lamigra. And if anybody saw Lamigra showing up at the orchard while we were working on one of these surprise visits, whoever saw him first would whistle. And next thing you know, everybody was jumping off their ladders and throwing their fruit sacks to the ground and disappearing into the trees. And Lamigra wouldn't find anybody but me, and I was legal. And then they would end up leaving. And a few minutes after they left, everybody would be back out on their ladders picking again. I wrote this song for my friends. It's called Lamigra Viennie. It means the immigration police are coming. The other Spanish word in it is andale, and that means run. Mornings were chilly Yeah, it was crisp as a striped or red or golden delicious. Couple tortillas, coffee with rum. By the time the sun came up, would have half been done. Trees were like temples, was a holiness to them. Picked out bottoms and then all the way through them. Up on the ladder, out on the limb. Trees were like temples and I loved being in them. Fernando amazed me, he was the quickest. 18 bins in a day he could do. I got 9 once, that was with big fruit. Only worked as hard as I needed to. Sometimes though, on the nicest of days, somebody would whistle and my friends would run away. They were yelling, Lamigra, Lamigra, Lamigra Viennie. Andale, andale, run, run. Oh, they leapt from the ladders to the next nearest orchards, spreading the word that Lamigra was coming. My Spanish was stiff, a little too formal. I cracked them up, and they taught me to cuss. Even better was cussing when they all went a-running. Even better was cussing at the big yellow bus. Van brought 'em in till the bus was loaded. Sometimes whole families, well, at least you'd have thought, they'd be back the next week on their ladders, giving new names the next time they got caught. Sometimes, though, on the nicest of days, somebody would whistle and my friends would run away. They were yelling, Lamigra, Lamigra, Lamigra Viennie. Andale, andale, run, run. Oh, they leapt from the ladders to the next nearest orchards, spreading the word that Lamigra was coming. Lamigra, Lamigra, Lamigra Viennie. Andale, andale, run, run. Oh, they leapt from the ladders to the next nearest orchards, spreading the word that Lamigra was coming. The house he was born in was only next door. His country had vanished, his people no more. Out in the garden, some little boys played. He had only come back to retrieve Lily's braids. The neighbors were home to their word, they were true. They'd kept them safe like they said they would do. Despite any orders they might have obeyed, it was righteous of them to have kept Lily's braids. The word had come down, the Germans were near. They had taken a village a few miles from here. There was no place to run, there was no place to hide. It was no longer safe to be going outside. Whispers of horrors, what they did to railway station, shaving their heads, then taking the hair to make pillows and beds. Lily's hair had never been cut. The curtains were drawn and the doors were shut. It had hung to her knees just moments before. The braids would be safe with the people next door. Lily's mother quietly prayed. She said, "Come here, child, and don't be afraid. I promise you one day we'll pin them back on after the war, when the soldiers are gone." The house he was born in was only next door. Lily's brother returned sometime after the war, and they were all he had left, and how heavy they weighed. Or maybe not as much now that he'd retrieve Lily's braids. Maybe not as much now.
Well, once again, if you're interested in tipping today, the information is in the comments, very beginning of the comments. There are 3 different ways that you can tip, plus there's information on how to pick up recordings of mine and how to become a patron. Also, if you're interested in hiring me for a private concert over Zoom, I would love to do that for you. Just contact me any way that is comfortable for you. We can set that up. Also, if you live anywhere within 2 or 3 hours of Asheville, North Carolina, and you would like an in-person, small, private, socially distanced concert, we can do that too. So let's see, what do we have next? Well, I've got a GPS. Her name is Emily. She's set to the British voice, and my ex-wife used to hate her. But before I ever got the GPS, long before the GPS had come into existence, we used to have to give directions the old-fashioned way. And I used to live out in a place called Leicester, North Carolina, or Leicester, depending on how you might want to pronounce it. And it does not matter how you pronounce it. The locals are always going to correct you. But this is how I used to tell people how to find my place.
When you get off of the interstate, when you get off of the interstate, when you get to the end of the ramp, make a left and go basically straight. You've got to go several miles. You've got to go several miles. It might make you wonder after a while, but you've got to go several miles. Then you will go over the gap. Then you will go over the gap. You might not find it on just any old map, but you've got to go over the gap. There'll be a field of corn. There'll just past the third dead cat. Just past the third dead cat. Just past the one that's especially flat. Just past the third dead cat. Now turn right on the gravel road. Turn right on the gravel road. Soon as you see it, you're just gonna know it. Turn right on the gravel road. And if you get to the church, turn back. If you get to the church, turn back. Do a U-turn. If you get to the church, the one with the historical plaque. And now that gravel road's gonna split. That gravel road's gonna split. Keep left where the gravel road splits, so you don't go off in the ditch. And now go up and around the red shack. Go up and around the red shack. And take a look at what they got out back as you go up and around the red shack. Drive right through the pack of hounds. Drive right through the pack of hounds. They'll all get up when they're lying down to play chicken with you, so don't go around. Brace yourself for the hill. Brace yourself for the hill. Take a deep breath. Summon your will. Brace yourself for the hill. Go all the way to the top. Go all the way to the top. Don't forget to breathe and put down your pop. And whatever you do, don't stop. You'll find the key on the ledge. You'll find the key on the ledge. There's wood on the porch, beer in the fridge. You'll find the key on the ledge. And it's just past the third dead cat. Just past the third dead cat. The one that looks like a welcome mat. Just past the third dead cat.
Feel free to try to find me. Here's the first song that I ever wrote after moving to North Carolina 25 years ago.
Well, the come heres and the been heres, they don't get along. I'd been there 15 minutes. I knew something was wrong. The waitress was not friendly, neither was the cook. Till I asked how far it was to the town of Stony Brook. The come heres live in cabins, and the been heres live in shacks. They say hello in passing, then talk behind each other's backs. White collars versus rednecks, horses versus mules. The city kids, they come here and make the teachers look like fools. Come here's come with laptops, Wii and DVRs. Some of them have GPSs inside their hybrid cars. They want to make no smoking zones in all the public places. They want to pass an ordinance outlawing turkey races. Now the ancestors have been heres that came here early on, when they were just the Indians. Once they were gone, they claimed themselves the New World. There was lots to go around. Carved up a bunch of properties and they built this little town. But now the come heres nearly have the votes to make one of them mayor. And in the last election, they won half the council chairs. They took over the school board. They outlawed the morning prayers. They're teaching evolution, sex education there. While the been heres do their drinking in a been here owned saloon. But in that brand new microbrewery, there's a separate dining room. And only at the Kmart or the Walmart will they mix. They think of one another as carrot nibblers and and Hicks. The Khmers have their pussycats and their little white French poodles. The Biniers have their hound dogs with names like Yankee Doodle. The Khmers like to watch the ducks, some of them like to feed them. The Biniers like to shotgun them and take them home and eat them. Well, the Khmers keep coming, new ones every day. They come for second chances, the new world, as they say. They buy and sell these properties for unheard of amounts. The come here's keep coming, building up this little town. The Khmers and the Biniers, two towns that overlap. You would not even see it by just looking at your map. Well, I was there at Christmas time when a tree was just a tree, and you could not tell whose kids were whose, sitting there on Santa's knee. The Khmers and the Biniers, there's talk about a fence. The whole town is divided, half for, half against.
So probably time to play another baseball song. Here's a song about a character, one of the all-time great characters of the game. His name was Max Patkin, and he was a clown. He started off as a player, but after retiring, he became a coach and started clowning around in his job as a base coach, and that sort of took off. And for 50 years, Max Patkin traveled around minor league ballparks primarily, played 5,000 one-night stands, never failed to show up for a single one of them. And I got to meet Max some years back, just before he passed away. He heard the song, and it turns out that he wanted to represent me. He wanted to manage me. That's what he said anyway. He wanted to manage me and represent me to minor league baseball ballparks throughout the country and have me booked as an act at the games, sing baseball songs, and that was something I was very excited about. Just a few days after meeting him, I went off to Ireland, and a couple of days after that, Max dropped dead of a heart attack. So he never did end up managing me. But he did hear the song. He loved the song, and that was a real thrill for me. The title of the song changed when he passed away. It was originally called Going to Heaven, because I was quite sure if there is such a thing as heaven, Max would be going there, but I changed the title to Gone to Heaven.
Uniform was baggy and he had gigantic feet. Hat was always cockeyed and had and his schnoz as big as Baltimore and the hat as big as Devon. Max Patkin made the children laugh, and for that he's gone to heaven. Max Patkin, he was vaudeville, last of the old time clowns, funniest looking fella that ever went from town to town, with the kind of face that he himself said only a mother could love. With his loosey-goosey limbs and his floppy leather glove, Max Patkin worked 3 innings. They'd let him coach first base, call a meeting with the batter, and then kiss him on the face. Then he'd do his chicken walk, then his geyser bit. He'd take a sip of soda, tilt his head back and spit. Max would leave them howling them he slumped upon a stool, with his back against the locker, fell in the whirlpool, dirtied up and sweaty, down to his stocking feet. He'd give the clubhouse boy $5 to scrape the mud off of his cleats. Oh, the clown, Prince of Baseball, he did 5,000 gigs. For 50 years he shared the bill with circus dogs and talking pigs. By the ninth inning, he'd be back at his motel with an early morning wake-up call. The next night he'd be someplace else. Oh, the towels in every motel room, they all smell like chlorine. From the rookie leagues to AAA, and all points in between, and all points was flashbacks, ever with big league bound. They saw him on the way up, some on the way back down. And oh, to be a clown these days, you've got to have thick skin, a flask in your back pocket, a bottle of aspirin. The drunk sometimes will get you, for the team that did not win. Well, it's tough to be a clown these days. You got to have thick skin. Max Patkin loved the children they loved him. His body would fall apart sometimes, and he'd patch it up for them. And he never, ever, not even one time, sold an autograph. Funny man, Max Patkin. Changed on Max Patkin. Along came rock and roll. They blare it from the speakers now if ever there's a lull. Some guy in a chicken suit circling the bases with a corporate logo on his back and in one or two other places. So if there's a St. Peter and he's sitting by the gate, he probably saw Max play sometime and wiped clean Max's slate. That corny old routine dated back to 1947. Max Patkin made the children laugh, and for that he's gone to heaven. Max Patkin made the children laugh, and for that he's gone to heaven. Max Patkin made the children laugh, and for that he's gone to heaven. Okie dokie. Well, I have time for a few more songs here. But before I do, I think we ought to head over to Puckview. Today's feature is some pucks from the Old World Hockey Association. It was a rival major league, started in the early 1970s, lasted about 7 years. As you can see, New York Raiders pucks and the Miami Screaming Eagles. They never actually played a game. They moved operations to Philadelphia and became the Philadelphia Blazers. And you'll see a pennant of the Philadelphia Blazers behind me. When I switch back, then you see the Houston Aeros and the Baltimore Blades. And next week, I'll give you a glimpse of some different pucks. Hope you like Puckview. I've got a new edition on the way, and I picked up a few last week, and I'll be featuring them real soon as well. So let's see here. This song is basically an instruction manual on how to win an argument. After 3 or 4 tries, I poked out his eyes. That's how I got him to see. To get him to hear, I screamed in his ear. I gave him the 3rd degree. I sharply berated him and told him I hated him. wasn't very kind. I shouted and cussed until I won his trust. Well, that's how I changed his mind. I shunned him, ignored him, I wouldn't look toward him, I only would give him my back. I accused him of lies, I would not compromise, I erased him after the fact. I was abrupt, I would often interrupt, we were volatile when combined. And in stating my case, I blew up in his face, and that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. Now this man was an ass. I was gonna let him pass, let him take a wide berth of me. But I was right and he was wrong, like I was telling him all along, trying to just get him to see. But he's a this and I'm a that, so we couldn't have a chat of the friendly and civilized kind. Round after round, I just ground him down. Well, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. So I stomped on his toes and I punched him in the nose. I was using irony. So sure of the truth, I knocked out his tooth and I kicked him twice in the knee. I won over his heart with a poisonous dart, and he should have seen me unwind, being overly cruel and with ridicule. Oh, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. So I called him a fool, challenged him to a duel. I threw my white glove in his face. 20 paces and I shot, and I must have hit the spot. Anyway, that's how I pleaded my case. Well, I won in the end, after making him bend, and after all the papers were signed. In the end, I won, yeah, that's how it was done. Oh, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, ashamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, I might have even maimed him. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind.
So, gonna sing in 2 more songs here. Once again, all of the information on how to tip today is at the beginning of the comments, both on Facebook and YouTube, also in the chat window on YouTube at the very beginning. If you'd like to become my patron through patreon.com, that would be awesome, and there is a link to my Patreon page, and you can check it out. Just this past week, I had 2 private Zoom hangouts with my patrons, played them a few songs. They were able to ask whatever questions they want. We just hung out for a while, and I'll be doing that on a more regular basis. I also share works in progress there, and anytime I have a brand new song, I let my patrons hear it first. And you can support me for as much or as little per month as you would like, but The wonderful thing about Patreon is that it gives me a certain amount of money I can count on every month. And in these times, that's precious right now. So, again, this is my one and only means of making a living. I cannot get out onto the road until the COVID situation is more under control. And thanks to all of you who have been keeping me going with your generosity and thoughtfulness. Really appreciate it. It's not over yet, so thank you for anything that you'll send today. Here's one I've been wanting to sing for a few weeks.
For the kindness of strangers, I'll often give thanks. Some have fed me and clothed me, and some have filled up my tanks. Some have taken me inside their humble abodes, and given me sanctuary on this goddamn blessed road. It all fit in a backpack with a sturdy metal frame. My maps had routes to everywhere. I underlined some names. I could have walked to China. I had that light alone. Nearly weightless when I set out on this goddamn blessed road. Well, I banded with some gypsies, and they had a little camp, and a garbage fire to keep warm by, from the cold, from the damp. They taught me about honor, and they handed down the code, which I have always tried to live by on this goddamn blessed road. Picture was in black and white till color came one day, and then almost as if right before my eyes, truth became gray, and answers became questions, and I put my faith in the unknown. I've trusted it to lead me on this goddamn blessed road. A lot of good books have been written, and you can read every one. You can take notes, to recite quotes as proof. Got your reading done. So many interpretations of the words of the ultimate poet, who inspires me to write my own on this goddamn blessed road. Magic happens sometimes, things will just appear. Some gone in an instant, days are dear. My heart, it gets heavy. My legs, they get bold. Hauling all my riches away on this goddamn blessed road. Now billboards tell you where to go, others tell you what to do. So you're left with having to decide for yourself what might be right or wrong for you. My one and only question is how to know, how to know. From all the answers people have for you, and on this goddamn blessed road.
Time for magic trick. Abracadabra presto changeo. I want to thank you all very much for watching today. Hope you'll tune in next week, and don't forget the information on how to tip is at the beginning of the comments. Thank you very much. I'll be back next week.
Well, I hope I see you later, 'cause it's time for me to go. That's my ride that just pulled over, and it sure was good to know you. So go answer your calling, go and fill somebody's cup. If you see an angel falling, won't you stop and help them up? We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, and we show each other signs. Sometimes you'll stumble, sometimes you'll just lie down, sometimes you'll get lonely with all these people around. You might shiver when the wind blows, and you might get blown away. You might lose a little color, you might lose a little faith. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, and we show each other signs. So thank you for the water. But I was gonna die out here in the desert, but you quenched my thirst. Let's break a little bread together. Got a little mana. It was a gift for someone who was passing by and offered me a lift. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, and we show each other signs.
Stay safe, stay well. Have a great week. Hope to see you next week. All the best.